Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I hope we've all had a great start to the week. I hope we had a phenomenal weekend, whether that meant looking at charts, an extension of our weekdays, or relaxing, totally unwinding. It seems as though Jackus especially was unbothered and in his own lane and enjoying himself this weekend. But yeah, I hope that you guys did whatever you needed to do this weekend to relax. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Chef Jackus. We're going to cook you guys up a delicious meal. We have a big week ahead, right? I mean, Bitcoin and ETH look to confirm the breakouts that they had on Friday of last week. NVIDIA earnings this week as well. And of course, I believe we have another interest rate decision from the Bank of Japan coming on Friday. So quite a bit of potential volatility baked into this week. We're going to talk about all of that and then some. Of course, you guys know we're going to talk about some of our favorite shitcoins as well. But before we can do that, I'm going to ask, please don't make me get down on my knees and beg for you guys to hit that like button. It's a Monday. Begging is not a Monday thing, but it would mean a lot to me if you guys could smash that like button for us. Maybe if we get to a certain threshold, you'd get to see it. But I'd love for you guys to hit that like button for us because, like I said, we are going to cook you up a delicious meal. It's Monday. We've been stirring on a bunch of information all weekend. We got a big week ahead for you, and we are eager to break it down. But yeah, I hope they're panic liking. Maybe not. I guess I'll check back in after we do the intros, but I am going to be checking today. But to get into the charts, guys, we are seeing a little bit of, I guess we'll say red to open the week, right? We had a huge green day on Friday, at least for equities. We were green pretty much all week, but for crypto, we did what crypto does. It does nothing, and then it catches up to equities in basically one daily candle, which is that's exactly what happened with Bitcoin, ETH. Altcoins ran for a majority of the weekend as well. So we are seeing some red to open the week here on Monday. We'll see if we even close red, man. I mean, last Friday did seem pretty bullish. But of course, we do have quite a few volatile events, as I said, that will occur later this week, most notably the NVIDIA earnings, which I believe are on Thursday. We'll see what equities do into that. But, if the previous earnings from NVIDIA are any indication, what's very likely to happen, or what's very possible to happen, is we might just kind of chop into earnings and then God candle after hours. We'll see if that's how it plays out once again. But if that is what's going to play out for equity risk and tech, it will probably play out for crypto to some degree as well. So we will see what we do into Thursday, of course. But like I said, guys, we got a lot of opportunity and I think a lot of volatility coming this week. Not to once again be the 25-year-old technical analyzer, but volatility incoming this week. I feel like the headlines that we are potentially going to get this week will likely jerk the market around a lot. So say a prayer for leverage traders once again. And yeah, we'll see where we come out on the other side of it. But I'd love to know what you guys are thinking as we entered this week. Obviously still digesting that pump that we closed last week out with. What are you guys seeing in the market so far to start the week? And how are your expectations as far as what NVIDIA earnings have in store and maybe even the Bank of Japan on Friday?
Listen, this was the complacency pump. This is going to be a big nasty rejection. Zoran was right. Call world, and see you at 30K, guys. All I got to say.
I'm going to back up what Jackus just said, because if you look at the Elliott Wave 5 count, you can see that this is the pattern right here that's about to play out. So I totally agree. I'm sure you saw this in the chart as well, Jackus, the Elliott Wave count down here.
You mean the Elliott Fade? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I haven't had enough coffee today. I'm a little bit tired. The Elliott Fade count down here. There's also some 5-minute time frame equal lows sitting right
Max,
here.
do you know what's my favorite quote? Oh, sorry, it wasn't this Elliott wave. It was another, and I gotta redraw it now.
Yeah.
I have
No,
Elliott
the
wave straight out there, man. Like,
Elliott phase. Look, I think we're kind of in just a range like this. Like there's a few ways you could draw it, right? You could, you could tighten it up, something like this. Or at this point, I like it because you have your Q2 high and your Q2 low. And I see a lot of really clean interaction with the mid range, which I like to use as a little bit of confluence, when appropriate, right? So I think this is, 65 is a big level, right? 65 is a really big level. But before we came on the stream, I was just trying to simplify things for myself a little bit. And I'm going to do the same on here, just from a technical perspective. And that will then help me answer the question that Tommy so beautifully placed in front of us. Like, what do we think happens from here? What I'm going to do here is we're going to go to the daily time frame, and we're actually going to remove all the candle colors. Okay, just so you just see the bodies, right? No emotions. Candle colors, they cause emotions from time to time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mark out downtrends and uptrends. Okay, so this is the daily time frame. We're going to mark out the current downtrend, right? Because we are, without question, like, we are in one. Okay, like we're in a downtrend, right? And I'm going to ignore some of the in between or whatever, but I mean, I guess I don't have to, right? Like we could do this. It's fine. I guess just do this, right? Like ultra high time frame downtrend. And Bitcoin is technically like in a very high time frame downtrend. Okay. It's very drawn out. It's very, very annoying. I think we're getting to the end of the road with it, but like, here's your downtrend. Really simple. So technically, before we're going to be in like a high time frame uptrend, let me just remove, we can draw these back later. You're going to want to see, and we could even put it like to right here, right? You're going to want to see a market structure break to the upside. Okay. And I think if you get that, right, and we're in like a local uptrend, right? Like you could say to me, oh, Max, we're clearly in an uptrend, and you would be correct. I'm just talking like it's all about time frames, right? We could be in a 5-minute time frame that's doing something different. Absolutely. We could be in a 4-hour uptrend and a weekly downtrend. I'm just talking about like the weekly trend, the 5-month trend, right? So this is a little bit more in sync, right? Here's your downtrend. It's really, really simple. So in order for us to have like a weekly shift of trend, like, yes, we want to flip 65. That's great. But ideally, like if you get back up here, like if you see price back up in this region, if you see us pressing all-time highs, like you're just gonna go crazy, in my opinion, and I think you could be bullish before that, right? But like we really are waiting for this on the weekly time frame, and I think that's going to happen. And I already know that when we get back up to this region, and we probably like get up here, price is going to do this, right? Like maybe we'll do this. It's going to come up here, and then they're going to go, oh, we took out these equal highs. We took out those equal highs right here. Like now the recession begins, and then they're going to draw something like this, and it's just going to go straight up, and I was doing the same thing with some altcoins too. Like, let's just keep it really simple. Like, what levels do we need to flip to be in an uptrend, right? Bitcoin locally, right? Like we could zoom in a little bit, just keeping it so simple. Like this is your high time frame trend, but then additionally, it's like we're in, a local uptrend like this. Here, let me change the candle colors. We're in a local uptrend, right? So that's good. So maybe we come back into here, and then we keep stair stepping up until we get up into this region, boom, 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 boom. And then we have our weekly break of trend to the upside, and then we move up, right? But I was also looking at, things like Pepe, right? I did this before we came on just to save a little bit of time. But it's like, it's pretty obvious, like, what is happening right here. This is the 12-hour time frame. So kind of middle of the road. I like the 12-hour, get a little bit more information than the daily, but it's not too much. Downtrend, clear shift of trend to the upside, uptrend. Then, after the high, you get a break of structure to the downside. You're in a weekly time frame downtrend. And that's like we are starting to see the beginning, potentially, of these altcoins bottoming out, and like really bottoming out. And I think this week will be very telling, where you're starting to see, like with Bitcoin too, like look at our blue trend, right? Like weekly time frame, we still got some work to do. Locally, yeah, like send it back to 62 or something like that. That's fine. Like as long as you kind of hold this right here, like all of this. I know it's getting a little messy now. That's all you need. Like let's just keep carving out as long as it takes. Let's just keep carving out higher highs and higher lows. And right now, all that I request is that, 62K puts up a battle if we get there. I want this blue trend to hold because I want to eventually see us back up at 70K. Because if you get back above 70K, you're not going to stop at 70K, in my opinion. So a lot of things are, kind of looking like they want to be bottomed for real. So we'll see, like big week, because these local trends are starting to shift, right? Like we are in a local uptrend right here. Really simple. Here's your local uptrend. Send it back here. That's fine. But I want to see this resolve, blue trend. Give me local trend to the upside. So things are looking pretty good, right? I'm never going to be one to believe or die on the hill of like a Monday New York session sell-off. That's never going to be a winning strategy, but I think things look pretty good, right? Just really simple market structure. I know it's not always like that simple, but I think it can help provide a little bit of context to some of the fear that I think is still out there, because we are trying to start uptrends, right? And it starts slowly, and then it all kind of happens at once.
Nothing and then all at once. Straight up only, no pullbacks. Moon, Valhalla.
Yeah, that's right. I think earnings will be important too, Tommy. Sorry to ignore that part of your question, but go ahead, Jackus.
No, go on. That was a more question towards Tommy.
No, I don't really have much to say on it. Like, I'm not like the NVIDIA analyzer. I probably should be because of how important it is to our markets these days. But I think NVIDIA, I kind of view NVIDIA the same way I view Solana. Like when Solana's pumping, things go risk on. When NVIDIA's pumping, the stock market is risk on. So that's really all I have to say on that matter. That's not profound, and that's probably not the best way to look at it, but I think there's some truth to that.
That's basically what it is. I mean, for the when you look at the similarities between the Nasdaq and NVIDIA, basically, at least since like last October and November, they're almost identical. But really, if you go back all the way since the 2022 lows, the Nasdaq is basically doing like it's led by NVIDIA. So it is the single most important stock to define equity market directionality, because if it's chatting higher, the entire index is probably going to chat higher. It creates a wealth effect that people will use their holdings with NVIDIA as well to obviously start to leverage and buy other equity tech stocks as well. So like NVIDIA going up is huge for risk in equities. And we have yet to see an NVIDIA earnings over the last 2 years that has not been overwhelmingly positive. So, I mean, I don't think it's wise to go into earnings necessarily with the expectation that this time will be different for the earnings. But the market structure on NVIDIA, I don't want to form like too strong of conclusions before earnings, but it does it still strikes me as like that Tesla chart we were talking about last week, where potentially it's carving out a lower high. But I also think, it could be completely irrelevant to look at market structure and price on this thing until the earnings, because we could just have a good beat and then all of a sudden you gap up above all-time highs, and then risk back on for equity markets. Like it's kind of I feel like that binary to some extent.
I was I might even cook on NVIDIA a little bit, but what likes we at though? Like, are we at 200 by now? Or is it?
I
Is it
don't even
a?
need to look, Jackus. I know it's not good. I don't even need to look. It's
It's
Monday.
it's
I just know
Monday.
it's not. I know that's not good. Yeah. Tell them what you want, Jackus. Tell them what you want.
I'm gonna look.
Wait, sorry. My headphones suddenly disconnected for a brief moment, so I didn't hear a thing. But I was gonna cook on something, but we had a deal, guys, right? We had a deal that you just keep smashing the like button so that you may keep getting a nice cook sessions if I'm pleased with them. But if I'm not, then it's a no-go. It's no-go. So let me check. Let me check actually. If we are at above 200, that would be pleasing. Well,
We're not.
Guys,
It's a rat on you guys, but
start panic
not
liking.
above 200.
Start panic liking. Come on. Come on now.
And here they come.
wait,
Here
I
they
do not
come.
know if it's right, but it's telling me that there are only 2 likes.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Oh,
not
that's not right. No, that's not right.
Wait. How much is it? Is it?
I mean, guys, look, in the simplest of way, again, we're going to focus on market
165.
structure today. It's so important. NVIDIA clearly in a huge, huge bull market. Let's delete this and zoom in a little bit. All right.
You can just put that next to the NASDAQ if people are questioning the importance of NVIDIA. Like, why would you care so much about the earnings of one stock? Well, we care about the earnings of the NASDAQ. That's basically what it is.
All right, guys. It's not enough, but let's make a deal, right? We have currently 333 people watching, new ones still joining. Let's make the ratio up to 300. If we get to 300, I'll share something. I'll share a chart, show you some nice alpha. It's a deal.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
You guys like what I'm doing here?
I like it.
Out. You can't teach this. That's the thing. You can't teach what I'm
preparing
doing.
a screenshot for X.com?
You need to
Yeah.
you need to put V between the N and D on the right chart. One is NVDA, the other is NVDX.
Are you saying like wrapped NVIDIA?
Yeah.
Here. I'll just do this. Okay. We'll do parentheses.
Now we're doing physics.
There you go.
Basically.
NASDAQ. And this is the
Oh
there you
no.
go.
Oh no.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, Tommy, you're right. Like, let's look at this. Like, here you go. NVIDIA on the left, NASDAQ on the right. I mean, it's literally the same, more or less. You know?
Can we put like maybe, for example, I don't know, like Apple next to it or something to see if like what the market is really following? I mean, it's obvious, but just to have a comparison, right?
That's a good chart to talk about after this, though, Max. Bitcoin NVIDIA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because somebody already talked about it in this comment right here, but there's going to be, I think, a lot of people who are in tech currently that find crypto as the best, like the best instrument to be able to take their wealth out of the country so that they don't like lose it in America to cost of living, to taxes, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that to some degree will probably spur on. I mean, the NVIDIA Bitcoin pair might not capture like that theme alone by itself, but I do think in general, you're probably going to see tech guys use Bitcoin and crypto as a way of getting their money outside of the country, especially if they've like effectively made it. I have a friend who's talked about this a few times on X. His name is Good Alexander, but he's got some very controversial takes. So
Does he have an alter account called Bad Alexander?
no.
That'd be funny.
He should do that. Recommend it to him.
He's a betting man. He's like the type of guy who can get like really in depth with the forecasting, and you're like, how did you come up with that? But then it happens, and you're just thinking, what the hell? But yeah, back to you, Max.
Yeah, Nvidia is trading a lot tighter with the Nasdaq, or the Nasdaq is trading tighter with Nvidia. I don't know.
That's a better way to put it. The
Yeah.
later option.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like here's that blue region. So I mean, there was a big divergence where, like, you know, Apple pulled back hard right here, and then, you know, the Nasdaq, which is Nvidia, went up during that time.
What go through a few major stocks, Max, on the right side, through like you know, like Amazon, Facebook, to see what they did in that time period.
Let's do Microsoft.
Microsoft, yeah. This one
Microsoft
seems
is
a lot
better.
more. Yeah, this one is way better. Although on the latest drop, you can see it made a, you know, lower low, while Nasdaq and Nvidia did not.
Well, see, that's the thing, is like, it's not just Nvidia. Like, we kind of joke about Nvidia, but it's like 10 companies is what it is. You know, it's like the 10 biggest companies in the S&P 500 are literally the US economy, right? But Nvidia, because of its performance all of 2023 and 2024, I would say Nvidia, yes, it carries a ton of weight, but it's more of what it represents than anything. Like, how high can we really send the mega cap tech Ponzi? Like, how much will the market really let us get away with?
Max,
Yeah.
what I think is happening is that maybe like US is trying to make like semiconductors, and talking about Nvidia mainly, right? But all of them, it's trying to make it like it's ultimate resource, right? Like I think it's a critical nation resource nowadays to have a semiconductor producer, and so like obviously, you know, US has oil, you know, it's fracking its oil, but also it's now trying, and it has gas and all of these critical energy resources. But I would say that nowadays semiconductors are the same thing. Like, it's a critical resource for a nation, and that's why it's throwing its money at Nvidia this way. What do you guys think of that?
I definitely agree to a large extent that whether we do it voluntarily or whether our hands are kind of forced at some point over the next decade through like the whole China and Taiwan situation, you're probably going to see chips become manufactured more and more in America. I think that's kind of, at least that's my expectation. I would say, as far as the constant Nvidia bid, I think it's, for me, that is largely attributed to the fact that you have a bunch of funds that just raised under the premise of artificial intelligence. Come invest with us, come invest in effectively like the future of markets, the future of technology. And they don't really have anything to invest in, because most people aren't, like, I mean, sure, you can put some capital into some really niche and obscure stocks or crypto assets, but there's really only one thing that has had simultaneously both great appreciating fundamentals as well as great appreciating price. And to a large degree, as we know, that's very like intertwined. But that stock is Nvidia. So I think, you know, in the simplest of terms, like, Nvidia is kind of the only thing that people can really bid in the AI sector. So it's just catching this perpetual bid or flow from funds and everybody as like the way to get exposure to AI. And until I think that changes, that's probably going to remain the dynamic for a lot of these passive flows.
And what do you think about alternative semiconductor companies that are competing with Nvidia? Although we could probably say that like Nvidia really isn't competing with anyone, because everyone is just trying to catch up on it. But you know what I mean.
I mean, I like it's going to be hard to match that ROI that NVIDIA's put forth already. Obviously, NVIDIA is almost the most valuable company in the world. So you could argue, I'm sure you could argue some individuals like whether or not the ROI is better from a market structure standpoint, though. I see TSM could be, TSM could be bullish. I think in maybe a few weeks, a few months from now, it's likely to begin its next higher time frame leg higher. But I also think some of these other like more obscure AI beta charts, like an SMCI, for example, or a render. And I would also put something like BitTensor in the category before that, right? With a TSM. Some of these AI stocks look like they can trend. And then I think some of them as well, like an SMCI, like that looks like a bubble that's popped. So I think that's probably like you're going to see NVIDIA just probably perpetually grind higher and to the right. But you have these AI charts, much like altcoins, that will go through cycles in between.
Indeed. I think it's actually interesting. I just tried here charting on my own, like other alternative semiconductors versus NVIDIA. Most of them are just in perma downtrend, basically. Even if I take stuff like AMD, which is like the probably closest competitor, maybe, then it's just perma downtrend. It looks like one of those shit coins against BTC.
I mean,
Yeah, I
this
think
thing
SMCI is going to keep coming down into the end of the year, honestly.
This thing
I
looks
think so.
fried, man. Like, just.
It does.
I mean, it just couldn't really look much worse. I mean, there's nothing even here. Like, you kind of, like, you have to look at this level somewhere. I mean,
Do you know when it got listed to S&P 500, SMCI?
Tell me it was up here.
It was.
Binance spot listing.
Yeah,
it's literally Binance spot listing, and then it gets listed. It's down only, but that's the thing, right? Like when you buy just into the S&P 500 index, you are essentially buying SMCI with obviously little weight, as much as like 0.5%, or I do not know what weight it is, but like you are buying at the top of the parabola when it gets listed there. So it does work like long term. It's a benchmark, but it's better kind of to, if you know how to do this on higher time frame, it's better to stock pick in that regard. But yeah, I do not think that level holds max that you have there. I think gets blown through, and I think the bottom on SMCA comes, but exactly there. I think it sweeps.
That's textbook bubble price action. Like you look back at the tech bubble charts, it's literally the SMCI chart.
Yes. And that's like when it gets listed to S&P 500, that's basically when you want to add it to your watch list. But that's like a bullish confirmation. But that doesn't mean you long there. You get bullish on the asset, but then you buy when it gets very discounted from that listing price.
I'm gonna show you, Jackus. This is the Jackus playbook right here. I'm gonna show you. This is future supply. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna bounce into supply, and then you come down here, and then we go up.
Then Jackus loads up.
Then Jackus backs the truck up.
He buys the first selling of those retailers who bought the S&P 500 listing, and he earns billions in the future. Billions and billions and billions.
I could see this.
Yeah.
Like, why not, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. Like those lows are so vulnerable. And right now, like this is a text. Look where we are right now, Max, right? And this is an alpha on its own before we are even at the 300 like button threshold. But or sorry, TP. But this is like where the SMCI chart will probably do some bullish bounce. Like it will probably form some bullish structure, something that will get retailers very much interested, thinking it's the bottom. But in
Mhm.
reality, it's bouncing from like a no man's land, and that's the perfect trap I've seen on the charts. So it really matters not just what happens here locally, but where it happens, right? And so where you want to see it happening is from that sub 200 level mark. And that's when you get interested. So yeah.
Yeah, this chart doesn't look very encouraging. I just, I don't know. I mean, that was a hell of a run. I mean, look at this thing. It went from $18 to $1,200. That was a hell of
Yeah.
a ride, you know? Like that's what we want our altcoins to do. You know?
Can you do minus 80%, minus 90% pullback on that one?
I'd be
See
happy
where
to.
that lines up.
So that's this line. This is 75. The obvious normie, the normie demand is 72.
Oh, who could have foreseen it? Lines up perfectly.
Oof.
The typical minus 80, minus 90% pullback after a parabola. It's with normie stop losses. It's where retail gets lost. Yeah, I will scoop up sub 200. It's not that
There.
hard, gents. And I would love when the sentiment gets super bearish on it too. Down there, like everyone is be like, yeah, SMCI, it was a thing in the past, but now it doesn't make sense anymore. You know, I wouldn't be buying into it.
This looks like the Wall Street cheat sheet, doesn't it? Like this might be like the best or like the bubble, you know? Like the psychology of a bubble or whatever.
Max, I'm so bullish on Wall Street cheat sheet chart repeatedly playing over and over again in the future. I'm so bullish on that. I'm so bullish on human psychology not changing and the markets replaying the same patterns as they have in the past.
It's the same thing every time. Here, let me.
You can literally just copy the NASDAQ tech bubble fractal and put it on SMCI. It's like perfect.
I will do that, but I'm also going to do this too. Like, look at this chart right here. Like, that's literally this. That's crazy. We could even fit this over it. Like, like it's not perfect, right? But it's like this. It's like the same thing.
There is one perfect chart for this one that you have there, and that's ARC.
Yeah, ARC does look like that.
Kathy Wood.
Here,
If you're gonna put ARC there, it's legit this
let me
chart.
put Tommy's fractal first, and then we'll do ARC. We'll do both because I bet both are amazing. You said the .com collapse, Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Take it from like 1998 to the bottom.
Okay. Wow. Here, let me remove these. Oh my. So let's do like this basically. Oh my gosh.
So pride.
I wanna cook.
Oh my gosh. It's just abysmal.
Jover for SMCI.
Just the essence of it, yeah.
Grown men giggling at a chart. You're absolutely correct. We are giggling at this chart.
I mean, really all you have to do is just it's the topping pattern, right? It's this, you know, because how you get to the top or like before, how you get to the top before it's like, you know, it's up to anybody. It's up to anybody how we get there. But like this is happening, you know, this is, oh my gosh. Study that. Observe this. Oh my.
Guys, can you finally push it to 300 likes? I'm tired of this freaking YouTube algorithm, but it is what it is. I want to share something.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's roll. Let's do it. What are we at? 233. Yeah, I don't think they want you to cook today, Jackus. We're just gonna keep talking about semiconductors, and I don't know. It's fun, you know. That's pretty fun for a Monday.
Who doesn't love talking about semis?
The best part about this chart comparison is this bottom part right here, like how that level is the same, you know. I know you guys are like, why are you talking about semiconductors? I'm like, put this over any altcoin chart as well, like at the end of a cycle. It's all the same, you know.
So here's my question for you guys. Seeing this SMCI chart, what does that make you think with NVIDIA? Because I kind of think the AI trade could be cooled off until obviously like Q1 or Q2 of next year. But NVIDIA is almost kind of like a separate, like you have to kind of talk about it completely separate from these beta plays in the same way that you would with Bitcoin and altcoins. Like it could continue trending with AI charts being wrecked, but AI charts like this being wrecked kind of make me think that NVIDIA might start going sideways.
So the market cap of SMCI is 33 billion. What is NVIDIA's? Like a few trillion still?
It's gonna halve.
Well,
the SMCI market cap will halve.
I just don't know. So for one, you better hope that there's not really a correlation, right? Because that's just
No, there's not.
Yeah, here SMCI divided by NVIDIA. Like, let's see if there's any like. So here's the pair chart between the two. I don't really, nah. I mean, look, even if we were going to pair trade these as beta to NVIDIA, it's like.
Looks like a chart Dr. Outlook would think about buying soon.
So even if we are going to trade this as beta, right? This thing is just going to fall, right? So SMCI against NVIDIA, it just, it looks terrible. This looks bad. I'll even put it in log mode to try to help out here.
You get interested at the loss retest, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you had a deviation and you're back inside the range there, bruv. She looks heavy. This looks like supply to me with a giant deviation. So what do I think about and a market structure break right here? Like, what do I think about it? I think you probably do this. And then you come back, probably even deviate the low, make it symmetrical. And then NVIDIA's topped or something, like when it's down here. But that's kind of how I view it. I'm just like, I don't even think I don't pull too much signal from it, honestly. I think SMCI got a pump because of what was happening with NVIDIA, not because there was not really for nothing else, truthfully.
What do we think about MicroStrategy?
I think people should like it so Jackus can share his damn chart.
I agree.
I agree. MicroStrategy actually looking pretty good to be honest. I do not see much reason for it not to send to new highs, especially the way BTC is looking.
It does look good, honestly. It looks really good. So here's the previous all-time high region, right? It's like previous cycle all-time high. You're just still in a range, right? The 25-year-old technical analyzer still in a range. But it's a clean range, like that's pretty clean. Clean interaction with the mid-range also. So you're ranging or bull flagging, whatever you want to call it, on top of the previous cycle all-time high. Previous cycle all-time high. So it's like, do you really expect this to break down? I don't think so. This was a little predatory. Jackus was in front of this one. Jackus saw this one coming, but like this was nasty. But besides that little sweep, it's like it's still just a clean range, right? So
to be fair, it held pretty well. Like if you consider the fact that BTC went to as low as 49K, MicroStrategy hasn't. Like it did not make a new low. So I see a relative strength in it.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
It to me basically says like Wall Street wanted to bet the higher beta to Bitcoin,
which is ironically MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
What is the market cap of MicroStrategy? I'm curious. Now that is it lower than Bitcoin? Well, yeah, obviously it's lower than Bitcoin.
The market cap is 26.32 billion.
Yeah, it's way lower.
But I don't even know is there like a reason to hold Bitcoin like percentage wise over MicroStrategy? Like here's Bitcoin divided by MSTR.
Custody purposes, but other than
besides that, like why would you hold it? Like this is Bitcoin against MicroStrategy. Like it's just bleeding like incessantly. Like it just like look at this chart. This looks cooked, man. Like it's breaking down. Why hold Bitcoin against MicroStrategy? I can't. I don't know.
You let Sailor buy Bitcoin and then you buy his stock.
Well, yeah,
it's a win-win.
Think about it. Like he actually took Bitcoin and just made he made the best stock in the stock market with Bitcoin. He levered up. He levered up and collateralized his business and bought Bitcoin with the cheap debt, like historically cheap debt. And then he basically just built a corporate treasury with Bitcoin. And then he has a cash flowing business that's profitable. So it's like you've basically taken Bitcoin, levered it up, you've generated a yield, and there's a cash flow attached to it as well.
Yeah.
It's like it's better, right? But the only issue is you can't custody it, But if you're just talking as an investor who's not worried about custodying, you're not not your keys, not your coin. If you're just looking percentages on percentages, you can't really justify buying this chart, truthfully.
Yeah.
This is Bitcoin against MSTR.
Basically, he kind of created a perpetual mobile the same way Tether has. I always think of what Tether has done, and I think no one is really appreciating it enough because it's probably because like nobody can profit out of that, right? Like nobody can buy a Tether stock really. But if you think about it, they have a company with 20 people. They're making billions.
Yeah.
The thing is that they just issue a freaking stable coin, a one-to-one coin, right? They take your dollars. They're basically doing what banks are, but they do it way better because they are offering a stable coin for the Latin America and Africa. Like you need access to dollars, right? You cannot do that. So here is a solution. You do that through Tether, all right? So they send it they deposit their money, they get digital Tether. And what does Tether do? It goes on and buys US yields, right?
Yeah.
What happens is that it's a perpetual mobile at this point because they receive dollars back and they can only buy back more yields, more bonds, right?
Yep.
Like they receive more dollars, they buy more bonds, and occasionally, they'll add some Bitcoin just to be even more safe. They don't need any more employees. They just perpetually keep buying US bonds. And like US hates them, but at the same time, they need them because they need someone to keep buying their bonds. It's a perpetuum mobile.
It's the best business in the world. Can you imagine a better business than just creating a stable coin and then just people give you money and you just buy government debt?
It's like
just
paying the
generate a
mafia.
free yield. You don't have to do anything.
It's like paying the mafia.
It's the best business
Yeah.
in the world, man. It's being a stable coin issuer is the best business in the world without question.
That's
don't have to
why
do
you see
It probably wasn't fully backed all the time, but I would
it wasn't.
I would
Are you being a Tether
money that
Fedor, Tommy?
no. I'm not. See, I had to make sure that I got all my words out because I hate tether fudders, but it probably is more than likely back now, right? Like one of those things, like maybe one of the biggest cases in history of fake it till you make it, and they're definitely in the latter stages of that.
I 100% agree that they probably weren't super legitimate in the very beginning, but it just
they
doesn't matter
weren't.
now. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter now because they managed to survive. It's always risky at the beginning of a business, right? But they managed to survive it. They created basically another fake token called Leo, which is a Bitfinex exchange token, and they bought up all the cash they needed. And they do not even need to hold everything nowadays because they hold Bitcoin as well. And if they need liquidity, like if there is a run on bank, run on Tether, they can just sell partially Bitcoin and they will have insta liquidity to provide, right? So they only need to hold like, I don't know, like they will never be like a bank, right? So that they would be holding like 10% or less. They'll probably have to hold like, I don't know what's the ratio for them, but like let's say 70% or more. Just my wild guess, but yeah, they are absolutely alrighty. And I think so many people are now understand, or so many projects or coins are now getting this, and they are launching their own stable coins. Like you see so many of them launching their own, and the stable coin market is expected to tenfold from here, tenfold in the next like
so
2-3 years.
Crypto, by the way, that's like so bullish. Like
it is.
Bring it on. We should make our own stable coin, guys. Like we'll call it BBS, BB stable coin. And then we just buy T-bills with it. Yeah. That's an idea.
Yeah. That's an idea. Or we do what MicroStrategy has done, and we just we just keep buying Bitcoin. Then we release stocks, we lever them up, we keep buying more Bitcoin.
Yeah, literally. It's literally that. It's incredible. It's incredible. PBUSD. We're out here trying to trade and navigate markets when people could just give us dollars and we buy government debt with it or Bitcoin. Staler figured it out. Tether guys figured it out. What are we doing? Talking about is up or down. Just buy stable coins. Come on. All right, guys. We better be at 300 likes here. We better be at 300 likes here. 280 guys.
Man,
what does a guy have to do for 20 more likes so that Jackus can cook? I mean, what do I have to fly to your home, break in, put my hand on your mouse, and click the like button for you? I mean, what do I need to do? I'm starving here, and there's one guy that can cook. We have one chef in the house. My stomach is grumbling. Now I'm getting hangry, and all that we have to do is get to 300 likes. One more like. We're at 299. One more like.
Max.
Jackus.
You keep calling me the greedy Jackus with his X, right? But who is more greedy? Is it me, or is it the people who just want a free alpha and are not even able to just click a damn button? I call that
you're
greedy.
Right. You're right. It's not a you thing, Jackus, anymore. It's a them thing. Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They want to come into a 5-star restaurant and they want a free buffet is what they want. But that's not what this is.
It is what it is.
But here's the good news, Jackus. We're at 314 likes. That's the good news.
Hey.
I like that we smashed through that resistance, and I can finally stop waffling, and I can start cooking instead.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Let me share the screen. I actually have 3 charts I want to discuss. I wanted to go through NVIDIA. I think there was a question for Intel, so I want to touch upon that, and I want to touch upon SMCI. I think all 3 will be interesting. So when it comes to Intel, I saw actually lots of people saying like, oh, Intel is the great discount right here. And then guess what? From that moment forward, another 40% dump. Not pleasant. Honestly, guys, what's going on with Intel? I always loved the Intel chips, but yeah, looking at price, guys, let's see if TA is superior or not. But I think there is only one level that's interesting, and that's right here, right? Because at this bottom, you had like a last leg down, right? So lots of people are not seeing this, but this was a leg down, right? And then you get another, you get a bounce to the same resistance, you get another rejection, range is formed. This is the low, and then you get like last sell-off, right? Because here you break basically the structure. This is where you get bullish, you get retest. Then you get a pump. So now the market is coming all the way back down, and where it will want to go, it wants to take these stops. It already got it here, but I think it will want to also take, here are the nice equal lows, right? So it took those basically, but it will still want to come and fill this CME gap, and sorry, not CME gap, the FVG down there on the 3 months or so, and retest this range lows. So if you are looking to get long, right, this is like your perfect area to do so right here. So if you held all the way till now, I would suggest like do not fumble it now. But this is basically your entry area where you would look for a possible rotation to higher. If I obviously like ideally to do this, right? Because it's a stock, it's a company, real company behind it producing real cash. So you want to actually check on them, like how are they restructuralizing their company and so forth. But this is a TA level. If all of those other fundamentals hit, this is a TA level where if everything fits, you want to allocate. And then obviously there may or may not come. They may or may not come. I could see one last like this is where it should hold, right, and start rotating. I should see a bump to this area, but if I could see like a sweep again, because you would be buying a falling knife here, then I could see a final dip down here, right? This is an untested support, and it could still sweep this low. So if that comes, that's like your last area to shove in. You want to allocate small percentages, and then the same bounce would happen. Anything below it is pretty much a bad thing. So yeah, that's kind of my take on Intel. And by the way, I would also possibly could see this one, right, to some degree playing
Why did
out.
this
So
chart nuke so hard, Jackus?
I honestly don't know. I haven't done the research on the company itself, but I heard that they were like not as like the way the company got managed was not good. They basically were suffering from success. So so basically something in that regard. But I do not have that great of a info to it. TA speaking, right? You had this distribution right here. You broke below it and you come back to retest it. Technically speaking, this was a bearish retest, right? And it just played out as usual. So
Have you seen that
uh,
DJ Khaled meme? Like it's
yeah,
like his album cover. It's like suffering from success. It's
I know.
so funny.
Yeah. So basically here, this is like a perfect trap, right? Like this is where people get super bearish with a break below these two. Like you're gonna get a close probably below here, and then it's like, oh no, it's so over. Sell everything. These two are good levels to be buying. And anyways, that's Intel. And by the way, you always gotta think like AMD, right? Like this was AMD. You are basically somewhere around here. You may or may not get this one last drop, but you could be buying right here. I do not know how long will it take, but you could get something like this afterward, right? So if I go back to Intel, you could be doing like, let's say the price even drops low here, bounces another low, you could be getting quickly like something like this. And this could be a great opportunity to allocate, right? Longer term. So this is a scenario you should be seeing there. Moving to NVIDIA. This is a scenario I was outlining probably here on Market Check, I think. When we were trading right here, I was saying that this is going to be a different this time. We're not going to get this type of... this is when like this is the big alpha on NVIDIA, because I think this is a big alpha on the stock market too, because we know that NVIDIA, as we clearly outline, is leading the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, right? So in a bullish trend, this is a very strong trend. You keep getting, and you can apply, the meme Elliott wave strategy, right? You're gonna get like like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. The thing is that here you are getting a first pump, and you are not getting a retest. You are getting another pump, another no retest. Everyone is looking to buy these retests. They are not getting the opportunity. Lots of people are finally buying here on this retest, and the level will, do the bounce like it always does the bounce, but it's merely going to bounce as much as like here. It depends how the bounce is formed, and lots of other local things. And it can, like in some occasions, it can form a complacency shoulder. Not in this case, because this is a different case with the way we bounced. If it was way slower bounce here, and we would like, let's say from here, right, like from this huge demand, which was right here, if we were bouncing in a way where right here you would like bounce, create a high. All right, let me just quickly move it. Like, let's say we would just bounce like here, then we would be creating this, right? And then we could create a complacency shoulder and go lower. But because we went so quickly higher, that leads me to believe what I originally anticipated, and that we're going to see a new high. But the thing is that this is showing you weakening of the trend when you get the retest finally, right? And what I said before, right? There is lots of people saying NVIDIA is a bubble. I do not think it is, but I do not see a parabolic advancement from here. It needs to cool off, and it will, in my opinion, go in a longer range. So I think it goes higher. Lots of people get ecstatic on it, thinking that it's just going to keep going up forever. And we are basically in like March on altcoins, right? Like if I were to, and you guys will, like some people will be, they will be crying here, but you are basically going to be in like this little region on lots of alts, where we had a new high, we swept above it, right? And then the drop happened. Obviously the drop will not follow through like on lots of these shit coins, but because NVIDIA like is an actual profitable company delivering something, unlike lots of these shit coins. But the local structure remains the same, is that this is a TP zone, and then you look to rebuy under this level where the market will want to reach for the liquidity. And here it ideally wants to create a range and a new big higher time frame reaccumulation cycle. I think that the moment it reaches to this period is where Bitcoin really starts to outperform it. And as it goes down, I think Bitcoin keeps moving higher, and the Bitcoin versus NVIDIA pair starts to finally run. So this is a big range. And now let's compare it with Tesla, right? Because we have seen this play out in the past before too. And it's basically like here, right? You had this bigger of a pullback. It obviously did not go as low to retest this demand zone, but it did go to new highs, right? So you are currently on it like here, and obviously again, everyone is kind of think of its own, but you are looking for a sweep of this level, basically, right? That's your area to shove in and create something like this one. So below here, you look to form the range, and then this is the big reaccumulation range. Yes, I am thinking that this is a big reaccumulation range, this so-called cycle or reaccumulation 3, just like Bitcoin has these big reaccumulation ranges. This was cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, and I do believe that Tesla sooner or later breaks out to quadro digits, then they'll probably do a stock split, but it will enter a reaccumulation phase 4, cycle 4 basically. So that's just NVIDIA. But going back to NVIDIA, this is what I think is going to happen here. And we saw this also on Bitcoin. Lots of people do not know this, but and we know what this is, right? Oh, it's playing out. Who could have foreseen it, right? Oh, we swept this low too. Oh, who can foresee? Anyways, listen, the same thing was happening here for Bitcoin, right? It kept going down, and it kept not retesting. It's a vice versa. This one came close, but it didn't really retest. And it kept coming back, but not retesting its prior swing levels. I could revert this even until the very last, where it came back and retested. And obviously here, in this case, it basically created like a complacency shoulder, and then it died, right? And obviously, entirely different, like chart and cycle and so forth, but the premise behind it is the same. You get a very strong trending market, and then at the end you get a full retest. People finally get to like buy in this case short in, and then the market reverses on them. So the same thing is going to be here, where in my opinion, where like we see new highs, then that's a TP zone. The market pulls back and you see a bigger pullback on NVIDIA, which you did not see in a long time. And this is a big scoop up opportunity for NVIDIA, basically, and look to accumulate for the next period before NVIDIA. But you need to understand it's probably going to go in a longer range, and then it will probably head higher again. Also notice this little fella, right? Again, we come back, we sweep this level, right? They will say it's random. I say it's not. They always come for this level, right? Of these levels of liquidity, and then they run it back. It doesn't have to always be precise like this. And now speaking SMCI, this is the last alpha I was gonna share, right? Which because we discussed this, and I want you to look at this chart, guys, and tell me what crypto chart are you seeing? Tell me what crypto chart are you seeing, if you do see that.
Pendle?
Tell me, Max.
Is it Pendle?
Not Pendle, but it's a major chart. Sorry, major altcoin. It's in top 10.
Well, it's not ETH, because I know you wouldn't be fudding.
It's not ETH.
Tether dominance.
Oh, is it?
Right.
No, it's not BNB you're talking about, is it?
No, All right, let's jump into it.
Wow,
This was
man. What's even in
maybe
the
a bit
top right
tougher.
now?
It's Solana, guys.
No. Oh no.
You will
Oh,
start
okay. I see
seeing.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You see, right?
I can pick up what you're
Jackus,
So-
saying.
are you telling me that you don't think Solana will go on to make
No.
a new high this cycle?
No, wait. This is
I
SMCI
think it
is
means
just
previous
creating the one. Yes, it's undergoing the typical altcoin cheat sheet pump, and where where SMCI is actually right here. It's right here. It's
Okay,
gonna
I thought you meant
come-
like right now. Where is it? Like which altcoin?
yeah.
Okay.
No worries. So what I think happens is basically this, right? This is right now. Look at this, right? You had the blow off top right here. This is your blow off top. You could even say like there was this little first bump, and then there was the complacency shoulder, or like the last squeeze on liquidity, which is basically right here. This is right here. This is the distribution. The moment you're gonna get it, and here you can anticipate it, right? Because the previous reaccumulation is so far away. But if you want to wait for a confirmation, this is your full confirmation of a breakdown, right, on these two candles. And so the moment it happens right here, right, this is where people still are complacent. They think like this is going to pull back. So you're probably going to get a lower low here. People will get bearish. Then you're going to get that market structure break, right? This is like right here. People thought, hey, we are coming back, bruv. It's what are you talking about? Get out with your bearish propaganda. And then it keeps dumping, right? This is where I first posted about that cycle for Solana, because I've seen this chart over and over again play out. And I said Solana right here, I said Solana is going to come below this low, sweep, and then go higher. I was sending it in May 2022 when I first saw it. And it did play out exactly like that, basically. Obviously, the bottoming range will be probably slightly different. It doesn't have to be like this exactly, but the level's pretty clear, right? So, and that was, by the way, before it did another minus 90%. But I think that SMCI is going to go like minus 70 from that point. I think it's going to sweep lower, do a market structure break. People will be like, oh, it's bullish. We're going to new highs. Nope, it's going to retest this resistance on a bullish market structure break, right? This is the perfect retail trap. Breakout into a resistance, and then from here, this should be a good short, the only one you want to take if you want to, and it comes back down here. People will be like, oh, I am still, I'm not selling. I'm gonna hold this because we are at this key demand. I'm gonna hold this. It's gonna, create some, probably triangle here, and then it breaks lower. Here, people cannot take it anymore. This is where smart money accumulates. You're going to get bottoming range, and then a new cycle begins. Right here, right now. This is how they play it every single time. Doesn't matter if it's a stock, crypto, whatever. What do you guys think?
Bullish, like you said, bullish on human psychology, never changing, ever. That's all that this is, right? It's just like human emotion printed on a chart.
Exactly. Like people are not understanding that charts, TA, is just a visual representation of human psychology.
I love it because it lines up with my bias as far as what we should expect from AI beta as well. That they're going to go through cycles while NVIDIA has a bit more. I mean, I won't say that NVIDIA is just going to go up in a straight line parabola forever, but the relationship will be AI beta is to NVIDIA what altcoins are to Bitcoin. So they can go through their own market cycles. in between. As I think I mean, we've already kind of seen it, right? With SMCI, it's already entered a high time frame downtrend, while Nvidia is effectively at the exact same prices as 2 or 3 months ago.
Look at this, man, and tell me TA cannot predict shit.
Why does that? I mean, that was the Ave fractal right there. I mean, we could have played that. I don't know why we didn't.
Jack, a question for you about the Nvidia fractal that you had, or what? It wasn't even really a fractal, but the forecast for where you think Nvidia goes. Do you think if we see a high time frame rejection for Nvidia above somewhere like above the previous high,
Yeah.
and we know that Nvidia is very, very highly correlated to the Nasdaq, it's more or less suggesting that U.S. equities are very close to a top. Do you think Bitcoin and crypto and shitcoins can really rally if Nvidia and the Nasdaq are that close to a top?
Yes, because it always takes time for the rotations to play out. So I think we have like a year for in crypto market, and what can happen is that where Nvidia really like starts doing something like this, it comes even back here, then slow grind up, sort of. In this time period, crypto can do really well, and it doesn't like have to be like this, right? It can be like this, and then the real sell-off really happens here, which is look where July 2025. This is the big sell-off. This is where even crypto probably pulls back in the time period, but during this time, this is where crypto can outshine, and you can clearly see that how higher beta plays out, because if you have let's for example look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was also the first one pumping. And then let's look what Sol has been doing in the time period, right? So you can clearly see in this time period that Bitcoin was basically topped during, like we could say February 21. It didn't really make much new highs. What happened in the time period, right? Sol continued to go really higher. It went 600% above it. Then yes, the first drop happens. Sol drops too, and then it runs even higher during this complacency shoulder, right? And so the same thing can happen for BTC/crypto in the time period where Nvidia basically like keeps climbing towards like this region, right? Then it maybe does a small pullback, and then during this period is where like you get a final blow off top. On top of that, obviously, am I using the right pair?
That's a really good example, by the way, of how Bitcoin barely made a new all-time high on the second peak, but Solana went and pulled like a 10x or whatever it did,
So what you are looking for a cycle top in crypto is basically a quick pump on the Bitcoin versus Nvidia pair. This is not how a cycle top looks like. What you are looking for is a very quick pump right here, right here, right here, right here, and then, right here. When this comes, this is your cycle top. Not before, not after, in my opinion. So that's kind of the way I'm playing. And maybe last one to end this discussion. We're gonna create a folder. The folder.
And one thing I'm curious if you've done, you charted Bitcoin against Nvidia. Have you ever charted Bitcoin against like Apple or Microsoft or Amazon or Google, or just Nvidia is the significant one?
Yeah, Nvidia is the significant one. What I'm anticipating here going into the earnings on Wednesday is that like after this pump, we're probably going to get a normal pullback here. It's going to be like this into, key support, key range. And then probably from like here, you're going to keep climbing towards that high, and then this, and then probably like, I don't know, something like this going forward, right? But
That'd be
not
like
exactly
what sold
sure.
it in 2021.
Yeah, but here, price is bullish. You will not see it as clearly on this candlestick chart, but if you put in the line one, it's pretty clear what is going on here. This is the major support for bidding into higher prices. Kind of. Anyways, bullish, and I end my rant.
Whoa! Hang on. We got Jackus. We got Chef in the building. I can't let you get away that quickly. No way. Okay. We talked about NVIDIA.
Wait, sorry, my headphones got disconnected for a second. Not sure what you were saying, Max.
Oh, okay. So what I was gonna say is, let's talk about like others and others' dominance, like altcoin indexes. We've talked about the Nasdaq, we talked about NVIDIA, we talked about Bitcoin, potential rotations that are coming. The real rotation that we all want to know about is into altcoins, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about others right here, or total 3, either one?
Good. I'm not gonna cook more today. I think I overcooked enough. Maybe on Thursday we'll see.
What if I'm still hungry though?
If you are not fed enough, Max, you're probably super obese.
I weigh 600 pounds, Jackus. I'm morbidly obese. I wish there was a fat filter I could put on the screen right now.
He's the American consumer.
I told you guys this morning I went to the Minnesota State Fair. Talk about obese, man. Everything there is just deep fried, breaded and deep fried.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna chart others. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is, but it's on the chart. I mean,
just a random chart.
I mean, that's just kind of a nice little retest. Keep it real simple, right? That's nice. But what's crazy about this chart too, others, is like the fact that we just took out that complacency shoulder wick. Just so predatory, man.
Oh my
like
God.
look what they did.
Little baby
Like
sweep.
They just destroyed everyone, man. Like they look at that. That's so mean, and then just nuked it. That's what they do. But I think they're probably done nuking it. Like, this is mega demand, guys. This is mega demand. I like that. Looking at it like more locally, right? This is kind of that here, since Jackus is done cooking, right? It's this is kind of the way to look at it, in my opinion. It's like, oops, that is not what I wanted to click on. It's like a bouncy ball. It's like big, small, smaller, and then it's gonna roll over like that. Or the idea of getting like that perfect retest, right?
Do you know what it looks like, Max? Like a inverted USDT dominance chart when you had it there inverted.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I wonder why it would look like that. USDTD. Oh my. Let's get rid of that. That's beautiful.
Random line.
It's a random trading view line. It doesn't mean anything.
Trading view line makes bounce.
No, only macro makes bounce.
No, you can use technical analysis to predict the future of more markets. I use, I learn fundamental analysis. I read reports from companies. You can just do that. trading view line makes bounce.
Jackus, I saw a great
Literally
tweet
that.
about this.
Yeah.
I saw a great tweet about this over the weekend because they told me a few weeks ago a few different things. I mean, they've been telling me a lot of things. You can't use fractals to make money. You can't do technical analysis on the VIX. Let alone combine the two to make money. And then here I was like a few weeks ago when we correctly predicted a VIX spike with effectively fractals and TA on the VIX. But it made me think about this tweet from Tom Dante, who is an absolute giga chat, if you guys don't know who that is. But he was talking about how when he went into prop trading many years ago, and he, like everybody, when they see somebody being very successful, their first thought is, okay, like what's your secret? What is it? And if whatever it is, I'm going to try to mimic that. And then he talks about 2 desks over, like, yeah, there's this trader who uses stochastic RSI, Bollinger Band, EMAs. He does great. And then he looks like 2 desks over, and there's a guy making just as much money, laughing at his squiggly lines, cleaning up with just a naked chart. And he said, now totally confused, you go to the next trader who is just killing it, putting in 1 million plus days, and you ask him, okay, what indicators are you using on your charts? And he looks at you and he replies, charts. Who the fuck looks at charts? I just trade news.
Yeah.
And he's just saying that sums up Edge. It's totally unique to you.
True.
You are the edge. You are the edge.
Study the Dragon Scroll.
That's a fucking great point, Tommy. You know, like I think it was Tom Dante who also spoken about a guy who just found a perfect fador, and he like keep fading his calls, and he just kept making money longer term. Like that was his
Tom
edge.
Yeah. I have that tweet bookmarked too.
Yeah. So, and I think it was one of you guys who said like the real alpha is not finding a. Well, it is, but it's not like you may find better alpha in finding the perfect counter trader account than finding the one of following account.
Yeah. I have a fade account that I'm not sharing publicly.
People think they know who you guys were talking about the last time you brought them.
Promise. Yeah. No one knows who Tommy, you know who my fade account is.
I do.
But I will never share him. He is my crown jewel. He is my secret weapon, and I will never share him. And
I have
he
a
posts
list
a lot.
I'll source like a list of 3 or 4 people. Sorry to interrupt you, Max.
No, you're good. I was gonna say all I need is one. I have my secret weapon. That's it. And I don't think anybody knows who he is. Like he is undiscovered. And he's probably wrong 9 times out of 10. I'm serious. And it's been for like a year and a half I followed him. Like he is the best. My fade is better than your fade. End of discussion. I promise you.
Fade is better.
Yeah.
I think there is something to Naka getting euphoric on drops as well as a fade.
Naka. He's not my fade
right now.
He's not my fade, but
like when he gets euphoric on drops, that's a fade. Like not all the other times, but when he gets euphoric on a drop.
Yeah, I agree. When he starts bragging, there's been a couple times when Naka starts like bragging, and I'm like, okay, that's it, turnaround time.
because some people are really like perma bears by heart. I'm a bull by heart, right? So I'm more euphoric, like you guys saw me, right? Like when and even people told me in the BB Discord that when I successfully predicted this drop, people were saying that I like sound sad, and I said, because I am not happy when market is dropping. I'm a bull by heart. I want BTC to do well, and when it's dropping, I'm not really happy, even if I like saw that playing out. But some people are the opposite. They're like euphoric when things start, crashing and and going down. And And I think there are actually two other great fate accounts when it comes to Bitcoin cycle bottoms, and that's one of them is definitely Nouriel Roubini.
Is who?
If you guys know who that is, Nouriel Roubini. Do you know who that is?
No.
It's a US guy. He's a US economist, big one, and maybe even the other guy. I think his name is Kruger. If I'm not, maybe.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Are they just like economists that just hate Bitcoin because they don't get it?
Yeah.
Is that the
Well,
issue?
this guy, Nouriel Roubini, he very well predicted the 2008 crisis, right? And he got very famous on that regard, and he got like invited to lots of televisions. Just Google him, right? And but he is like a hater of Bitcoin, and every cycle he like doesn't talk much about Bitcoin, but each cycle at the bottom he gets super euphoric about how it's like dead.
Yeah.
And I had this marked. I legit tweeted this out this cycle at the bottom, and I said, this guy is tweeting again about Bitcoin death. Let's see how that plays out. It was legit the bottom.
That's
That's a big party.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a party, it would be a panic space, but there would be some people, like probably the gold maxis, and then just the people who hate Bitcoin in general would probably throw some sort of space. If you ever see that, man, I'm max bidding. I don't even care. Just like the death of the Bitcoin party back in, I think it was it December or January of 2021? December 2020, or
I'll show you on the chart where it was. Okay. I'll show you on the chart where it was.
It was the Pico bottom.
It was the Schmico, Pico, Fleeco, Tico bottom. Okay. It was right here. Somewhere in here.
Was it there, or was it right before it Giga Cent?
No, it was breaking below 0.02 was in the title, Tommy. Remember?
Or was it 0.3?
I thought it was 0.02.
Let me look it up.
I have the screenshot saved somewhere.
I do too.
It's my favorite.
It was March 24th. I'm assuming of 2021.
I want to just quickly tackle this comment by Kevin, because he was assuming like the fate guy of yours, Max. Like he said, you had a perfect fate who is and he said, so it's a he, 50% better odds. And I think this is a great one to there's a wrong analysis, because you think that just because he says he, you would say that because there are like 50-50 man versus woman in the world, so it's a 50% chance it's a him. But in reality, it's about 98% of people in crypto are men. So it's still pretty much the same chance.
And I don't know if he's a man or it's an anonymous Twitter account. Like it's it's just like a profile. I just assumed it was a man because like it's crypto. Like women don't like crypto, really. They think it's stupid, and they're not wrong. They're just like, why? Like, I don't get it. It's stupid. So I just assumed. I assumed his gender. Okay, is what I did. I assumed his gender.
By the way, can you put on the chart the tweet I just posted on in the private chat? It's from the Nouriel guy.
Let me find it.
Oh man.
Legit said, I wonder what could go wrong, man.
Jackass, you just want me to shill your Twitter account. It's unbelievable. So desperate to become a big account. I just can't believe it.
Totally me. I hope one day I make it.
You just want to be an influencer. I know. I get it. Okay, hang on. All right, Jackass is young and starting out, guys, so make sure to go follow his Twitter account, okay? He's very desperate for followers, so here's the tweet. God, this guy, he does it again. He did it.
Like, these are the perfect fates.
I'm
Legit,
so
like,
happy that Bitcoin is not at 20K again, man. Like that was it's so shitty when Bitcoin is going down. It's just so sad.
yeah.
It's so sad. And you know how long it's going to take too is the worst part.
I'm so happy we are not at 50K anymore.
I know. You know what's funny is that like a few years from now, where Bitcoin's gonna pull back to like 70K, and everyone's gonna be like, "Bitcoin is nuking. It's below 100K. It will never come back."
Yeah.
You know?
Wait for this guy to tweet.
Let's put him on alerts. So maybe we should remember this next cycle. Like next time we get a Bitcoin bear market and it pulls back, let's just say more than 50%, which it will. It always does. When this guy tweets and makes fun of Bitcoin, let's just full port buy as much as we can and then just see what happens.
See what happens.
That's pretty good though, twice in a row.
Yeah.
He goes, "This Ponzi house of cards is collapsing." That was the end of his tweet. It's now
It's like-
3x higher than his tweet.
It's like he can, like, these guys can occasionally tweet about it, right? Like they can say like, listen, this is like if you read a tweet, you legit can see he got euphoric. Like that's like what is he saying, right? At that end, this Ponzi house of cards is collapsing. Like that's the euphoric type of words you want to hear from a euphoric perma bear.
That's what I don't understand about perma bears, man. Is like, why would you want to go through life so pessimistic and negative? Like, I get it. There's plenty to be upset about, but it weighs on you. Like in 2022, when I was a bear, I found myself like being more negative day by day. Like I found it like coming out in my life when I didn't want it to, you know? And I was like, damn, I'm really like I'm cynical, you know? Like I'm very negative on life. It's not an easy way to make a living. Like the pump is so much more fun, man. Everyone's just having a good time. Everything's going up. And that doesn't mean you need to be bullish all the time. It's just like, why would you want to be a perma bear? Why would you want to do that? Like I would find myself like at dinner explaining to my wife why like the economy would collapse. I'm like, that ain't it. Like, trust me, that ain't the move. No one wants to hear about that.
It almost comes
Yeah,
off
but
as like a moral high ground,
It does.
a need for it.
It is. It's like, I know something you don't. Let me explain to you why, like, it's over. It's just not good.
But sometimes, listen, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is over. Like 08, it was over, right? Before we were so back. But sometimes it is over. And it's important to like, because these guys, they're just perma bearish, right? Like I think Game of Trades, right? I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
know him.
I
Game
know
of
who he
Trades on
is,
Twitter.
yeah. Every day there's a new recession indicator tweet, you know.
Yeah.
The Great Martise or whatever. Everything I've ever seen him draw just has price going straight down.
And they provide, like, I love to look at their analysis because they provide lots of good data, but the end result from it is that, as you say, every day there is a recession coming, every single day. And so that's not the way to do it, obviously. So as usual, you want to play both sides.
I have January 1st marked out on both of these charts. Here's what's happening with ETH BTC right here. This is it. But you wouldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. Here's where we are. Shove ETH in Q4. This is where we're at.
Man, it better bounce here.
I
That's
already
all
know
I'm gonna say,
Tucker's
it better
gonna
bounce here.
Tucker's in the comments about to say, who could have foreseen? I already know it.
Mhm.
I already know it. Here you go. This is it.
I'm not sure though if we like have a time till 2026. I mean, till beginning, yes, but not like end of 2026.
Okay, how about this?
We just need them to start printing jackets, and then we
Yes.
have a boatload of more time.
All right, I'll give you this. It's the best I can do.
That's I like.
0.11 by end of next year.
Listen, one thing I'm pretty certain about is that I do not know like exactly how it all plays out timing wise with everything connected. But when ETH breaks that 4K resistance, it's not coming back below it. That's like when the really long outperformance begin.
So this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I want it. I just want it already. I'm so tired. I'm so tired
Yeah.
of waiting.
Yeah.
It's been so long. Like we were so ready to go, and then take some profit. Gotta take some profit. Just can't wait to take profit before the all-time high. God, people suck, man. Just, they're just such manipulators. It's okay. That's markets. All right. We've been going for a while. We should call it. Tommy,
Good spot to wrap it up.
it's all you.
All right, guys. That concludes Monday's episode of Market Check. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Of course, we always enjoy cooking for you, especially after a weekend where we've just kind of been sitting on, just sitting on some information for a few days. But big week. Big week. I'm going to start off by sounding like the technical analyzer once again, but NVIDIA earnings later this week. Of course, we have the Bank of Japan on Friday. Hopefully that's a nothing event after what happened a month ago. And then, of course, Bitcoin, ETH, and equity markets look to stick the landing on these breakouts that we're working on after last week. But if you guys enjoyed the show, we also have a few more things to offer you, such as BB Wealth Management, which is our SEC registered hedge fund run by the BB team, guys. So if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that interests you, we are a digital asset focused fund that looks to obviously maximize exposure to assets that have historically yielded asymmetric returns to the upside while managing the investment risk posed in any market. Like I said, if that is something that interests you, we do have more information linked in the description of this video. Of course, as well, we have the BB Academy, guys, which has been around for a few months, and I'm going to continue to reiterate that you all have given us fantastic feedback on this product already. It is not very often that you have the opportunity to learn from so many different traders and how they approach, analyze, and ultimately trade the market. So if whether or not you're looking to take your trading or really like hone that educational base, or you're trying to reach trading mastery, there is a spot in the academy for you. And like I said, it is an invaluable part of the course that you get to learn from so many different traders and the myriad of different ways that we all approach markets. Of course, this week we are launching the BB Terminal. We are stoked to bring that to you guys. This week has finally gotten here. We think you're going to love it. It is going to be continuing to improve here over the next few weeks as well. So we are going to continue building on top of it for you all. But we are so excited that we can finally bring you guys this product. It has a myriad of incredibly useful bits of data, tools, and obviously order flow. I mean, I don't even feel like I can do it justice just by saying like 3 or 4 words to describe it. You kind of just have to experience it. Obviously, Max and the panel have shown snippets of what the terminal will look like upon launch. So make sure to check out our Twitters, check out previous market checks. We do have little snippets, but I do think that you're going to love it. I've been playing around with it for for a little bit here, and I've very much enjoyed using the data, and it's already been very useful, I would say, because last week, even just something as straightforward as the heat map that you can access on it. It showed all of the stops that we ended up targeting on Friday afternoon and into the weekend. So super excited to see how it's turned out. And I know you guys are going to love it as well. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, if you enjoyed Market Check, we will be back for another episode tomorrow with our start time, our usual start time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live Monday through Friday whenever the New York Stock Exchange is open. So we will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. But don't forget about Market Talk, either hosted by King Wabi. That is a Twitter space run through the Because Bitcoin Twitter account. Wabi does a great job. And it always, the conversation always takes a flavor very much in line with who the panelists are. So if you're looking for maybe a bit more of a fix here in your afternoon to wrap up your day, make sure to tune in for Wabi's show as well. But that's it from us, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Monday and a great rest of your week. Another big week that we will continue to break down for you guys as it goes on. But thank you once again, guys. And as always, stay safe.